Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are just one day away from Selection Sunday. Today is Saturday, March 14th, and we have a bunch of final conference tournament championship games on today. So let's get into it with the ACC. So yesterday we had Duke take down Clemson, and we had Virginia beat Miami. I am going to predict that Duke wins this conference. I know they're missing two solid players on their team, but I still think they looked pretty good yesterday against Clemson, and I think they'll be able to get it done against Virginia. Moving on to the Big 12, we had Arizona beat Iowa State, and Houston beat Kansas. Um, Iowa State, I had a little bit of faith in them to win this game. Did not happen. Arizona won, as you guys may have seen at the buzzer. So Arizona, they still look pretty good. So I am going to take them here against Houston. However, Houston dominated Kansas yesterday really bad. So I would not be surprised if we see a slight upset here in Houston. Both these teams are going to be elite teams heading into March Madness. Then we got the Big Ten Conference. We had Michigan taking out Ohio State. Wisconsin, a little bit of an upset against Illinois. We had Purdue beating Nebraska, which I did predict correctly. And then we had UCLA beating Michigan State. So a little bit of an upset there. That was a very fun game to watch. For the semifinals, I'm going to take Michigan over Wisconsin, and I will be taking Purdue over UCLA. This is exactly kind of how I had it planning out, with Michigan against Purdue in the championship. And I am willing to take Purdue, and I'm tempted to. I think Purdue is a very, very talented team with a lot to prove against people who have doubted them a lot this season. However, I am going to take Michigan to take home the Big Ten title. Then we'll take a look at the SEC. So as I'm filming this right now, the Florida Vanderbilt game is happening. So it just started. So I will still give my prediction. I am going to take Florida to win this game here, and I'm going to take Arkansas to end Ole Miss's Cinderella run here. They took down, you got to give credit to Ole Miss here. Look at this. They took down the number 10 Texas, number 7 Georgia, and number 2 Alabama. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So I am tempted to take them here again against Arkansas because they did look pretty good. And however, though, I do think their run ends here, and I got Arkansas winning against them here today in the semifinals. Then in the finals, I will be taking Florida to take home the SEC title. I think they are the clear favorite here to win it, and I think they will get it done. Then we got the Big East. So I was actually at these two games yesterday, and St. John's looked very dominant, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And Connecticut, UConn, obviously looked their typical UConn. They looked pretty good for most of the game. And today we have St. John's versus UConn, and this site is putting UConn as the favorites, and I will be going with UConn as well to take home the Big East championship. Then we got the A-10 conference. So yesterday we had St. Louis beat George Washington. Dayton took down St. Bonnie's. VCU beat Duquesne. And I did pick Davidson to beat St. Joe's. However, that did not happen. St. Joe's looked pretty good yesterday, I'm not going to lie. But let's look at the semifinals. I'm going to be taking St. Louis over Dayton, and I will be taking VCU over St. Joe's. I think St. Louis and VCU, honestly, I think they both should get a spot in the March Madness, win or lose. But I am going to take St. Louis today to beat VCU. Then we got the Conference USA. We had Louisiana Tech beat Missouri State. That wasn't really much of a surprise. However, the big surprise here was Sam Houston losing to Kennesaw State. So, with that being said, in the finals, we have Louisiana Tech versus Kennesaw State. And give me Louisiana Tech to win this conference and move on to the conference, the March Madness tournament. Then we got the American Athletic Conference. We had Charlotte beat UAB, which I'm kind of surprised. I had Charlotte losing in the second round, and they are going on a little bit of a run here, so I'm a little surprised by that. However, I'm not surprised that Tulsa took down North Texas yesterday. Tulsa's a very good team. I am going to be taking South Florida to win today over Charlotte, and I will be taking Tulsa to a little bit of an upset over Wichita State, and then South Florida taking home the title against Tulsa. Then we got the SWAC conference. We had Prairie View taking out Alabama A&M, and Southern beating Florida A&M. So 2 upsets here, and quite a championship. We got the 3v8. So I am going to take, though, Southern to beat Prairie View pretty easily. I think Prairie View, they went on a very nice run here, taking down the 11, the 1, and the 5. However, I do think they're going to lose to Southern University, who are the 3 seed. Then looking at the MAC conference, we had Toledo beat UMass, and Akron narrowly beat Kent State. I was surprised. I mean, Kent State's a very good team, but I think Akron is the most talented team in this whole entire conference. I think even if it was Miami versus Akron, I still think Akron would take it home. And with that being said, I am going to take Akron to win the conference against Toledo, the number 4 seed. Then in the MEAC conference, let's see here, the MEAC, we are going to be taking, well, Howard took down South Carolina State, and North Carolina Central took down Delaware State. So we got the 1v3. I think Howard here is the obvious clear favorite. That's another thing too here, guys. You can look at the rankings on different sites. This is a website, Odds Gods. They pull data from these different sites, and they rank them by the importance of each ranking website. So like we see here, importance percentage shows how much each stat influences the model's picks. The higher the percentage, the more the stat tends to move and influence the predictions. So for a matchup like this, it's a little bit irrelevant, but we can see here that Howard is pretty much the clear favorite in all these metrics here. So I will be taking Howard to comfortably beat North Carolina Central and move on to the March Madness bracket. Then we got the WAC conference at WAC. We had Utah Valley take down UT Arlington, and Cal Baptist beat Utah Tech. And in the championship, I am going to go with a slight upset here. I'm going to take Cal Baptist over Utah Valley. Then looking at the Big West Conference, we had UC Irvine take down Northridge, and Hawaii take down Fullerton. And I am going to actually go with another slight upset here. I am going to take Hawaii over Irvine to make it to the national NCAA tournament. Then, last but not least, we got the Mountain West Conference. We had Utah State take down Nevada, and we had San Diego State beat New Mexico. I had New Mexico winning that game. It was a very close game. San Diego State narrowly won. If you guys watched it, it was a very entertaining game. It was a late night game too, so that was fun to stay up late and watch. And then in the championship today, though, I am going to take Utah State to beat San Diego State and solidify their spot into the March Madness bracket. However, I would not be surprised if we end up seeing Utah State, San Diego State, and maybe even New Mexico slide in a spot depending on how other games pan out today and tomorrow. So that sums up all of the games that we had yesterday. That is my updated brackets for these conference tournaments, as well as my predictions for who will be winning these conferences. So as we move on to tomorrow, obviously, as we all know, tomorrow's Selection Sunday, I will be coming out with one more updated video tomorrow morning, and then I will do a double video after tomorrow, after all the games are done, getting ready for Selection Sunday, and then I'll do another video at night of my predictions, my first bracket reveal, where I'll be going through who I think will be winning each game. I'll be filling out a bracket, and then plan is for Monday will be to release an analytical bracket and a couple other brackets based on other factors that I think could make an impact on these games. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to leave your comments down below as to who you guys think is going to be winning these games and your opinions as to how these conference tournaments are going to pan out and what seeds these teams are going to get in the March Madness bracket. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.